The Maple Grove boys basketball team enters the week undefeated and ranked number 3 in Class 4A. In this week's Sports Jam Spotlight, we meet Crimson big man Reed Nikko. There just aren't that many around in high school or college ball. But Maple Grove's 6'10", 240-pound senior Reed Nikko is a true post player.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's definitely become a dying breed of sorts, you know. There aren't many true post players in the state I can name off the top of my head. I don't know, I've always seen myself as more of a traditional post, not like a stretch 5 or any of that, you know. And you know, I have always kind of prided myself on being a back-to-the-basket player and an inside player.
Nikko's worked hard at his offensive game and has improved, but it's still on the defensive end that he really shines, blocking 3+ shots per game and altering at least that many.
That's always been my favorite thing, you know, since I was little. You know, growing up, I wasn't, you know, the most coordinated kid, so I wasn't the best offensive player, but I could always block shots. So it's kind of one of those things that I found a lot of joy in, and you know, found a way that I could make a difference on the court early by blocking shots on the defensive end. So I definitely take a lot of pride and a lot of joy in being able to do that.
We can block nearly everything at the rim, so it allows us guards to get out there, pressure our guys, and not be worried as much as, you know, if our guys get past us, because we know he's there to protect us inside.
It's a huge benefit to have a guy that can, you know, give 4 or 5 shot blocks a game. And there's not a lot of those guys anymore. Everybody wants to be a guard. Everybody wants to step out and be a perimeter, 6'7" perimeter. It's nice to have a guy who kind of wants that paint, owns that paint, and enjoys it.
Nikko and the Crimson had a huge season last winter, going 23-4. But they had a painful upset loss to Wayzata in the Section 5 4A semifinals. So beating the Trojans handily a week ago was sweet revenge.
We definitely felt that the game last year was one that we should have at least been more in, you know, rather than almost getting blown out. And we knew we'd have a good opportunity to come back and beat them, and it lined up well. You know, they drew the short straw in having to play the day before too. You know, that contributed. But I think we played very well. That's one of the best games I think we've played for sure this year and in the last few years.
Many of the teams on Maple Grove's schedule don't have a player with the size to match up well with Nikko, but he relishes the chance to face other skilled big guys like Theo John of Champlin Park and Brock Bertram of Apple Valley.
Absolutely, yeah. Those two are both amazing players. You know, I've had a chance over the years to play against them both multiple times, and you know, that's always kind of one of those ones that you're really excited for going into, because, you know, as a competitor, you want to compete against, you know, the highest level of competition. You know, those two are both very, very good post players, and to compete against them is it's a fun time.
Reed will play at the highest level in college next season. In November, he signed with the University of Missouri.
I was very fortunate. I ended up with about a dozen offers or so. You know, very blessed to have that many opportunities to play in college, and it came down to where I thought I was going to get the best, you know, academics, the best education for myself, and also where could I be able to actually play sooner. And I think at Mizzou, with the coaching staff that they have there, and the points of emphasis they have both off the court and on the court, I think it's a very good situation for me.
Not long before signing day, Missouri was in the headlines as racial tensions heated up. Nikko stayed firm in his commitment to the school.
You know, I think every campus has their issues. Theirs came to a bit of a boiling point. There's definitely some issues there that need to be dealt with, and you know, the student athletes decided to exercise their right to protest, and you know, I'll support that 100% as long as it's peacefully protested.
He may be biased, but Crimson coach Nick Schroeder is convinced the Tigers are getting a player with great upside in Reed Nikko.
First time I saw him was in 8th grade, kind of gangly, uncoordinated, and to see him grow into the young man that he is now, I'm just so proud of him. He works extremely hard at his craft, asks a lot of questions, and that's great as a coach. He's extremely coachable, and he's just a joy to be around. He's such a great kid. He does so many things in our community for our young kids that look up to him.
Nikko and the Crimson face a big test against defending state champ Apple Valley December 29th at the Granite City Classic in St. Cloud.